The last time I spoke to my first love, she sent me a song we used to dance to in college and wrote, "This still feels like us." I never replied because I thought it was safer that way, but when I heard she got married last month, I couldn't stop playing that song. We met in the fall of 2006 at the University of Pittsburgh. I was a quiet kid, always kept to myself, always did my work early. I sat in the front of the classroom so the professors would think I was serious, even if I didn't care half the time. I wasn't trying to be noticed, but Raina noticed me anyway. She was the girl in the back row who laughed too loud and never raised her hand but somehow knew all the answers. She had this energy that pulled people in. Her hair was always a little messy, she wore these baggy hoodies with rips in the sleeves, and she talked like everything was a joke. But you could tell she was sharp as hell. Our first real conversation happened because of a group project. Some boring media ethics thing. She showed up late with a coffee in one hand and a Snickers bar in the other, looked at me and said, "You're the guy who acts like the whole world's watching." I didn't even know what to say to that. But she was right. We met a few more times. Late nights at the library. Cheap beer after class. I was always the one saying we should get our part done early. She was always the one saying, "Relax, we'll get it done." And we always did. That was the thing with her. She seemed careless, but she never dropped the ball. One night we were at a house party. Loud music, sticky floors, drunk freshmen trying to dance. The song "Sweet Disposition" started playing. I didn't know it. She grabbed my hand, pulled me into the center of the living room, and said, "Dance with me, essay boy." I told her I couldn't dance. She said, "I'm not asking you to be good at it." That was the moment I fell. We dated all through college. 3 years. It wasn't perfect. We fought a lot. She wanted everything loud and fast, and I was always second-guessing. But we had our rhythm. We had our little bubble. After graduation, she got into a grad program in Chicago. I had just landed a steady job in Pittsburgh working for a logistics company. Nothing fancy, just something solid. We tried to make it work long distance. Every Friday night, we'd FaceTime until the battery died. Every couple of months, I'd fly out there or she'd come back. But slowly, things shifted. She got busier. I got quieter. She forgot my birthday one year. I pretended it didn't matter, but it did. I told her I couldn't keep doing it. That maybe we were just different people now. She cried. I cried. But we let it go. 6 years passed. I dated. Nothing serious. I got engaged once to a woman named Mallory. We were good on paper. We liked the same shows, laughed at the same things, went to the same gym. But she wanted to start a family. I said I did too, but it wasn't true. I was still stuck in that dorm room, hearing that song, feeling Raina's hand in mine. Mallory left, said I wasn't really there with her. She was right. Then 2 years ago, out of nowhere, I get a message from Raina. It was a link to "Sweet Disposition" on Spotify. Underneath it, she wrote, "This still feels like us." I froze. My hands shook. I hadn't heard that song in a long time. I hadn't heard from her in even longer. I didn't respond. I couldn't. Because I didn't know what she meant. Because I was scared. What if she was with someone? What if this was just her being sentimental, not thinking? What if I answered and got pulled back into something we couldn't finish? I stared at the message for an hour. Then I archived it. Told myself it was better that way. The last month I saw her wedding photo online. A friend from college tagged it. "Look at Raina. Absolutely stunning." And there she was, in a white dress, laughing, looking like she'd never once cried over me. But that's not what broke me. It was him, the guy standing next to her. His name is Corey, and he ruined my life once before. And now he's married to the only woman I've ever truly loved. I hadn't seen Corey since 2011. Back then, he was just a coworker at my first real job after college. We started on the same day. Both low-level ops coordinators at a freight company just outside of Pittsburgh. I didn't think much of him at first. He was one of those guys who always smiled too much, always talked like he was selling you something. Real confident, real slick. We were assigned to the same project. Night shift planning for cross-state shipments. Lots of late nights. Lots of stress. I kept my head down, did the work. He was the guy who took smoke breaks every hour and flirted with the office assistant while I stayed at my desk. Still, I was polite. We got drinks a couple times. He told me he was from Ohio, had bounced around a few jobs, said this place was just a pit stop for him. I didn't really care. I wasn't looking for friends. A few months in, something weird started happening. I got pulled into the manager's office. They said my numbers were off, that I was logging shipments wrong, that I'd missed deadlines I knew I hadn't missed. I checked the system myself and someone had been editing my entries, deleting things, changing delivery times. At first I thought maybe I'd made a mistake, but then I noticed the login used to make those changes wasn't mine. It was Corey's. I confronted him once in the parking lot after a long shift. I wasn't aggressive, just asked if he'd touched my work entries. He smiled, shrugged, and said maybe the system glitched. Or maybe you just screwed up and need someone to blame. A week later, I was fired. No warning. Just walked out. That guy stayed. Got promoted 6 months later. Last I heard, he moved to Chicago. I buried the whole thing. Told myself it wasn't worth chasing down. I found a new job, stayed quiet, moved on. And now, after all this time, he shows up again in her life. I don't know how they met. I don't know what lies he fed her. But I do know one thing. Raina would never have married a guy like him if she knew who he really was. Or at least, that's what I wanted to believe. I spent the next few days digging. I couldn't stop. I stayed up late, combing through her wedding photos, her social media, anything I could find. There weren't many pictures of him. Not even on his own page. Just a lot of off-the-grid stuff. Outdoors shots. One photo of them in Michigan, another in Denver. Raina looked happy. That was the worst part. She looked really happy. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. So I messaged someone from back in the day. A girl named Tara who used to live on our floor in the dorms. She and Raina were never super close, but they'd stayed Facebook friends. I asked her, casually at first, hey, did you hear Raina got married? She replied, yeah. Kinda shocked me, to be honest. Especially him. I froze. I typed back, what do you mean? She said, they were only together like 6 months before they got engaged. And she dropped off the map. Unfollowed a bunch of people. Even me. Didn't respond to my DM. That's when it clicked. Corey hadn't just found Raina. He'd isolated her. Same way he tried to isolate me from my job. I kept going. I found Raina's old LinkedIn. She hadn't updated it since right before she sent me that song. Her last listed job ended the same month. Her email bounced back. I don't know why, but I kept hearing her voice in my head, this still feels like us. Like it was a warning. Like she was trying to say something between the lines. I didn't reply back then. But I'm replying now. And I'm not letting it go. I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that wedding photo. His hand on her lower back, her leaning into him like he was home. But I knew better. Corey didn't love people, he used them. I'd watched him sabotage careers just to climb one step higher. And now he had Raina. Or maybe he didn't. Maybe she left before the wedding and I was looking at a lie. I needed to know. So I took a week off work. Told my boss I had a family emergency. Packed a bag. Booked a cheap motel outside Chicago. And drove the whole way in silence. Just me and the hum of the road. I knew I was crossing a line. This wasn't about closure. This was obsession. But I couldn't stop. I needed to see her. Not to win her back. Not even to talk. I just needed to know she was okay. When I got to the address listed on their wedding registry, I didn't even get out of the car. I parked across the street, rolled my seat back, and watched. It was a 2-story house in a quiet neighborhood. The kind with trimmed lawns and porch swings. A red mailbox with the Thatchers painted on the side. Thatchers. He must have made her take his name. Around 6, I saw her. Raina stepped out onto the porch, barefoot, holding a phone. She looked thinner. Her hair was darker. She sat on the steps and stared at the yard like she wasn't really seeing it. She didn't look happy. Not like in those photos. Then he came out. Corey. He had a beer in one hand and a smirk on his face. Said something to her, but she didn't look up. He waved the bottle around, probably laughing at his own joke, and then walked back in. She sat there another 10 minutes before standing up and following him inside. That was it. I drove back to the motel, heart racing. I knew what I saw. I knew that look on her face. It wasn't love. It was a cage. Next day, I went to a coffee shop near their house and did what I hadn't done in 2 years. I messaged her back. I didn't say much. Just, hey, I saw your message. I'm sorry I never replied. She didn't answer. That night, I went back to the neighborhood. Same spot. Same time. But this time she didn't come out. Corey did. And this time he saw me. He walked across the street, calm and casual, like he was greeting an old friend. I rolled down the window halfway. Well, he said, crouching beside the car. Look who it is. I didn't say anything. You stalking my wife? He asked, that smile never leaving his face. Just making sure she's okay. He laughed. She's great. Best thing that ever happened to me. Too bad you couldn't keep her. I gripped the steering wheel hard. You don't deserve her, I said. He leaned in closer. Neither did you. And then, softly, like he was letting me in on a secret, he added, you know she came to me first, right? At that party? You were just the safe bet. Then he walked off. I sat there shaking. Not from fear, rage. Raina didn't just fall into his life. He hunted her. And I finally understood what had happened all those years ago. The lies at work, the sabotage, it wasn't random. It was personal. He wanted my job and my girl. He took both. But maybe I let him. Not this time. The next morning I went back. Not to spy this time. I walked right up to the house. My hands were sweating. I didn't have a plan. I just knew I had to see her, talk to her, hear from her if everything I believed was wrong or if she really was in trouble. I knocked once. No answer. I knocked again, louder. Then I heard her voice through the door. Who is it? It's me, I said. It's Jake. Silence. Then the door creaked open. Just a crack. Her face appeared in the gap. She looked different. Tired, pale, eyes dull. But she still looked like Raina. I shouldn't be talking to you, she said softly. I know. But I needed to see you. Her eyes welled up. Why now? You sent me that song. And I didn't answer. I thought staying silent was the right thing. But then I saw who you married. She didn't say anything. Raina, do you really want this life? Still nothing. Then, out of nowhere, I heard Corey's voice from inside. Who the hell is that? Raina flinched. I saw her hand shake as she gripped the door. I stepped closer. Let me help you. Suddenly, the door swung wide open, and Corey was standing there. No shirt, just gym shorts and bare feet. He looked like he'd just woken up, but the rage in his face was clear. You need to get the hell off my porch, he said. I'm not leaving without talking to her. You don't make the rules here, man. You had your shot, remember? You left. I'm what she chose. Raina didn't look at either of us. She stood there, stuck between us like a ghost in her own house. You lied to her, I said. Same way you lied at work. You stole everything. You ruined people. He laughed. And yet I'm still standing. Maybe you're just weak. I stepped forward. Say that again. That's when he swung. I saw it coming and ducked, but he still clipped my shoulder. We crashed into the bushes. Raina screamed. I hit him back. Once. Twice. He grabbed a garden light and cracked it across my ribs. I felt the air leave my lungs. But I didn't stop. I drove him back, yelling every word I'd swallowed for years. You lied. You set me up. You took her because you couldn't stand that she loved me first. We both ended up on the ground, bleeding, breathless. A neighbor came running. Someone else yelled about calling the cops. Raina was frozen on the porch. Until she wasn't. She walked past both of us, barefoot on the driveway, shaking, and got into her car. No bag, no shoes. Just keys in her hand and one long look at both of us. I'm done, she said. And she drove away. That was the last time I saw her. 2 weeks later, I got a letter in the mail. No return address. Inside was a photograph. It was that old college picture of us at the party. Me in a dumb shirt. Her laughing, hair flying, hands around my neck. On the back, in her handwriting, I didn't choose him. I just didn't think you wanted me anymore. You were always the one. I sat with that photo for hours. I don't know where she went. I heard she filed for divorce. Someone said she moved out west. Corey tried to press charges for the fight, but nothing stuck. He lost his job a month later. Guess someone finally checked into his past. As for me, I moved out of Pittsburgh, started fresh in Oregon. I don't look for her anymore, but I still keep that photo. And every now and then, I still play that song.